Obviously, quack journalism is some people, there are a few quack journalists.
They are there.
Just like any profession.
Exactly.
What do you think are other threats to journalism in Uganda?
Other than quack journalists, I think we have issues with money, advertising, because most media houses depend on advertising.
Yes.
And if advertisers, for example, say we are not advertising with this guy, the radio station, newspaper, TV will close. So I think one of those is capital to invest in that media house for it to keep running, because by just delivering news you cannot earn money. I think for me that's...
Are you likely to compromise the story because of a big advertiser for your media house?
That's where now we go into media house politics. It's what is your stand? Is it to lose that advertiser for one day and run a story that is in a public interest, who are going to actually to buy that newspaper that has no advert for that day, and because you have pulled the audience, another marketer wants to come to you. It's the stand you have to take.
Yes.
I lose an advert today
get adverts tomorrow.
And get adverts tomorrow.
The second threat is, of course, the social media. It's making a fool of everyone. Yeah. You think you're going to report this, people are already reporting about it. They already
you think
know.
You're going to break the story.
By the time you come out, everyone knows. That was all over Facebook.
We no longer have breaking news.
All over Twitter. That's also a threat, and it is actually what government has got to understand. Even when you license me, if you deny me the license, I can still have a blog and run it all over the world and have news across the world. The third threat is pay. Probably that is one of the worst things you can find. Is the pay inside there is really meager. I was once employed as a permanent reporter in one of the newsrooms here. I actually resigned. If you ask me the reason, it wasn't because I didn't love the job. I enjoyed it. However, I was not even able to pay rent. But if a top manager is earning 25, you should be able to pay generally something decent like 1.5 or 2 million.
Yes.
Just to try to live. How do you expect a reporter who writes a story that sells the paper, the front page story, is going to that sells that newspaper? A story, I think the highest paid in town is about 45,000, around that. That front lead story that makes you buy that paper. 45,000 shillings. That is if it has reached that. Some have even reduced. Now, how do you expect that journalist, when he is looking for news, not to be compromised by the, let me not give names of the people you've had in the media of corruption. How do you expect him to reject 2 million because he knows to sell this story he's going to earn me 45,000? But I tell you what, I do not want to add more.
First of all, the threat to journalism is basically government, according to me. Government has gone in and now they want to register us. Yeah, that is a way of trying to kick off some radical journalists. But talking about money is, of course, we have the freelancers, we have guys who get 10 millions and they are journalists. So depending on where you stand and which newspaper you work for, you can complain about pay. You go to a newspaper,
you're on the payroll.
So your bargaining power, you go to a newsroom and there are different levels of payment. Right. Someone gets 1 million, someone gets 5, but they're doing the same job. Right. So it goes back to bargaining power. But why is it so? Government has failed to put a ceiling on how much people are
the minimum wage. The minimum wage is still an issue, which we are going to talk about in a couple of weeks to come. But I want to ask you something while closing, and I want this to be an inspiration to journalists, especially the guys at universities who are pursuing their diplomas or something. What has been one of your memorable stories?
Wow, I remember when I wrote about the minister. I remember when we had to cover the riots in Kalwere. A kid had been shot dead. And then we had to cover that story. I had to see what the military was doing to people. And I was told when I reached the newsroom, you don't have to really put all this in the paper. Just speak what can run. It was actually, I think, the most touching thing, and it is what I still feel. It is what I've actually, I don't know how to put it. It keeps me thinking about it every now and then.
Memorable
I think that
story.
has been the most memorable story I did.
My memorable story? Several of them.
In brief.
Maybe what I think about most was published in the Independent. It was about the businessman Basajja Balaba, and I like the caricature, the way it was illustrated.
with Basajja Balaba strangling President Museveni, and it was about the billions that he took, and the nice headline, Basajja Balaba, the merchant of trouble.
That has
Caught your eye.
fantastic.
Yes.
I like it.
Wow, there are too many. One, my memorable story, the best story, is the first story I wrote. I was at campus in second year and it was published without changing even a single word.
Oh,
Good for you.
kudos.
And I still have
No wonder you have not met problems in journalism. You started at a high note.
Yeah.
That's Brian's question was a word of encouragement, and the reason why I'm not giving you my memorable story.
You haven't written stories.
I have done opinion,
Okay.
and
Those are stories.
an opinion really will not be my memorable story. The word of encouragement, whoever is at school, as you heard my colleagues say, there are challenges. You will find that if you went to the university to do journalism to be a millionaire, you are in a wrong course. But if you went there with a passion to do Uganda and the world justice by bringing facts out, by informing the nation and the world, go for it, because it's the only fourth arm of government where you're free to speak out your mind, and even if the government tries to curtail you, there is always someone to protect you.
Right. Fantastic.
I don't have a memorable story either. I do stories every day, but for me, I think that satisfaction comes from someone maybe giving me a call and saying, hey, that story is nice. It's up to the public to come up with my memorable story. I'm out there for the judging.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Brian, before you said thank you to journalists.
10 seconds.
And it was told me by Jason Nyango before I was coming to Monitor. He said that Isaac, go to Monitor to grow in journalism, not to grow in Monitor. To grow in journalism, so money things and other thing of where is the money is consequential. Grow in journalism. And when you go in journalism, you become a Jason Nyango, you become a brand.
Yes. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll definitely call on you. Please register if the government says register. We don't want problems. Want to see you here in a different forum. And for the rest of you, go to Twitter at Minibuzz Uganda and follow us on Facebook too, which is Minibuzz Uganda. And you can also send us a text on your phone to 6565. But every Friday, here is Don MC in a rap telling us how a good journalist should be.
Minibuzz. That's why I'm always gonna meet you here. These days banamawulire abasinga kirabika kati ebintu bagwa mu bigwe olina ava eri mukuba amatofaali mbu naye n'atandikawo okusoma amawulire naye munamawulire omulungi yenna ayina okuba n'obuyigirize ku kintu kyakola lina okubeera ne some sense of humor ate n'ekirala ng'amanyi okuwandiika alina okuba n'amazima mu byawandiika si byakufeera ba people bw'okubayagala mane talina kuba mutiitiizi ne mu kaseera kazigizigi ng'asobola okugasaka ng'asobola okugonza ekintu ekibadde ekizibu endakuna n'omwana omuto asobola okukijjuwa waba asoma alina okubeera audible ng'abantu basobola owulira by'abayogera ennyo njagala nkugambe leero nti nno oli kiso Minibuzz, I'm Minibuzz, Minibuzz. I'm starting to see things clear. Minibuzz. That's why I'm always gonna meet you here.